Welcome to this week's episode of Car Stars and Roll Bars. I'm Mike Kinney, your host, and our episodes, we kind of go the genre of everything automotive, where it's the shows, the featured guests, the celebrities, everything that's going on, manufacturers. And this show, we are thrilled to have with us Stuart Sobek. He is the founder, the head dude for Las Vegas Concours d'Elegance. If you've never heard of this, get ready just to watch your head go poof, because this is uber coolness in the car show world. And Stuart, welcome to the show, man. How you doing today? Excellent. And brief thumbnail on you. We've had the pleasure to know each other for quite a while. And you got, I think, that Concours itch many years ago, right? Because I think you went to Pebble Beach in the mid-'80s, and you kind of went, wow, and it went downhill from there.
Started in 1987, so I'm a little bit of a veteran.
A little bit of a veteran at this. Wow. So I got to ask, just of all things, some people play golf, right? Or they remodel houses. You decide, well, I'm just going to stand up a Concours event. So what kind of possessed you to do that?
Well, certainly not a stable individual. It's not a choice most people do. But I do this because I'm a longtime member. This is my hobby. This is what I do. It's my sport, and I've been doing this for 35 years. And I've never kind of found exactly the show that I wanted to have. And I go to all these shows all over the country, all over the world. I've been doing it for so long, and every time you go, you say, oh, I like this. Oh, I like that feature. I don't like this. And this thing actually started in 2016. I was at Pebble Beach, and I was sitting in my car like everybody else, waiting 2 hours to drive 3 blocks to the next event. And I'm serious, and it's crazy. And I was watching everybody just sit there in their cars, and I thought, why doesn't Las Vegas have this? We have 150,000 hotel rooms. We've got every great top chef in the world. We've got entertainment. We've got access. We've got an international airport. We've got all these things. Why hasn't someone done it? And I started looking around, and there have been some attempts in the past, just minor attempts, but I said, no, this has to be, it's Vegas. I live here. I'm proud of what we do here. This has to be something really fantastic. And so I took it on. I took it head on and said, I guess I'm the guy to do it. I looked around, it's like when they say, who wants to volunteer? And everybody takes 3 steps back.
Right.
And you're the guy up.
Yeah.
That was me.
And you're looking over your shoulder. Where did everybody else go?
Exactly.
And that's such a great intro, because this event, to me, kind of reinvents how the concourse can really be conducted and held. And Rick, if you can pull up that first slide, this is like the logo for their event, which that alone, that's not something you grabbed off the internet. And even to me, I always look at all the optics, and Stuart, my little weird version of hot rodding, and just your logo to begin with is just breathtaking. So, and that's not something you probably whipped up over like 2 minutes or something.
No, I had a lot of Hollywood types working on that. We hired people from big studios. We needed to do a launch in a very special way, and we needed to do it at a very high level. And we wanted to have every aspect of our show be top level from the very beginning.
Perfect.
And so this is the logo that we did. It's a great logo. It's celebrating our woman Helene, which I'll tell you about. Yes. But it celebrates the Art Deco period that we love.
Yes.
That we celebrate. With a little bit of a modern twist.
That's and that is just a great way to put it, because as soon as I saw your logo, and the other thing that's kind of neat about, as soon as you see that logo, the imagery of it, you know what's going on. It's not like anything else out there. And Rick, I think we've got a couple of shots from the ballpark. I had the pleasure of being with you last year out there, Stuart. And I got to be candid, I've been a hot rodder my whole life. We used to host our own car show here in town for a 2-day show for a local fundraiser for autism. When I walked on that field, it was just, dude, I just stopped in my tracks. This was stunning.
Thank you.
What you pulled together. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, there we go. I think that is part of the James Hatfield collection. Can you talk about those? I think, weren't those done by Rick Dorr?
Those are done by Rick Dorr, here in town.
Yep.
And for James Hetfield, James has 8 or 9 or 10 cars done by him. Those are at the Peterson Museum,
Wow.
and they were sent here courtesy of my friends at the Peterson Museum. And I thought it would be fun to have the little celebrity tie. Those are not Concours cars, but the interesting thing is they started their lives as Concours cars.
Yes.
One's an Auburn, one's a Jaguar. The red one there is a Lincoln. And the black one behind it is a Jaguar. I mean, it's really cool. And the silver one's a Packard, let me say.
Yeah.
But started their life that way, and they weren't here. They weren't judged. They weren't in the show. They were just here for people to see them. Because, like myself, when I go to a show, I want to see all kinds of things. I want to see old stuff. I want to see new stuff, and I wanted to bring something here, something for everybody.
And again, at the ballpark, you did a great job. If I remember, there was one gentleman that had that really cool Corvette. I believe it was a nice blue, and it was twin engine, if I recall.
Yeah. We car people tend to get over creative.
Yeah,
sometimes.
You got to be able to do it a little bit. So this is not your first rodeo, and this is not your first rotation with the Las Vegas Concours d'Elegance. So what's some of your favorite feedback from the participants, and as well as the attendees, and as well as the sponsors?
Well, all the sponsors are back on board with us. They loved the show. A lot of the exhibitors are coming back. Everybody thought it was great. They like that we are innovative, that we do different kinds of things, that we mix it up, and that we want to always do things that are kind of edgy and cool that other shows can't do, like the ballpark. That's why we did that show there.
Exactly. So for people who have not experienced a Concours d'Elegance, especially the way you and your team are putting it together, what can an attendee expect that's going to, number one, I know their jaw's going to hit the ground, but what all can they expect and why it's really worth their time and money to come see you?
So these are not cars you're going to see on the street. These are not cars that you're going to see in Vegas typically. These are cars from private collections. These are cars from museums. These are cars from across the country that I go out and meet these people and invite them to bring cars here. And we bring cars from all over the country, all over the world, actually, to bring here. It's like a one-day event. It's like a pop-up museum where cars from all over the world come here for one day. Cars, 50, we've got some cars this year that are over $50 million in value. And to be able to see those and to walk around and talk to the owner, and we expect to have 100, 150 cars on our field. That's where we want to be. That's about all the cars you can really look at in one day. To really walk around and take your time and look at them, 100, 150 cars is plenty. And so we go after the aspect of quality, not quantity. We want to have beautiful cars that you've never seen before, that you'll never see again, all in one place, one day. It's an amazing event.
Well, years ago, I had the pleasure. I ended up in Auburn, Indiana, for some auctioneering classes, and I was helping a bit. I got a chance to go to the Auburn Museum. I went in there so many times. They says, "Tell you what, not only are we going to charge you, would you like to start giving tours? Because you understand these cars." That's where I fell in love with the Cord. You got the Duesenbergs, but the Cord to me, it's like a little bit of that sexy hot rodder style. And to me, when you look at that era, they didn't have AutoCAD, they didn't have CNC machining. To me, this was true artisans building rolling works of art.
Yeah, they were truly craftsmen.
Yes,
and a lot of those cars were custom built, were hand built. They were dreams of whoever the owner was.
Yes,
and they would create a certain car, but someone would say, "Oh, I want you to change the body. I want you to change this, change that." A lot like what we do today, but all of these cars were custom built back then, and they're amazing. Each one is more amazing than the next.
So I got to rewind this just a little bit. I believe you mentioned you may have a vehicle that's valued about $50 million. So that's
maybe more.
So it's like a 50 with a whole bunch of zeros, but past it. Is that
lots
correct?
Of zeros. Lots. Just keep going with the zeros.
Wow. So from what you've seen, what drives the unique value of some of these cars? Just because they're so rare?
The rarity. Okay. The uniqueness, how it was designed, who it was designed by, what it was intended for, all those kind of things, and mostly just the beauty. the collectability, who wants it, who would like to have that in their collection. Mostly the rarity and the uniqueness of these cars is what drives the value.
Got it. So certain questions, yeah, I kind of have my standard suite of questions for our little fireside chat, and some are pretty easy. So, like one I like to talk about, well, what do you like best about being a promoter? I think we figured that out. You just get to hang out with gorgeous cars and great people. I mean, right?
Yeah, I get to meet a lot of really cool car people.
Well, as a matter of fact,
car people are nice.
Yes, they are, and that's one thing I like about this car culture, hot rodding, what do we want to call it? What I've seen, Stuart, it's one of the few activities out there the 17-year-old and a 70-year-old can talk in a language they both understand and respect.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Cool. And talk about people you get to hang out with. I think you visited the Nethercuts not too long ago, right? And you saw some of their amazing collection, and they've supported your event before.
Yeah, the Nethercuts are great supporters of our show. Yeah. They brought their beautiful Bugatti Dubos, 1931, yes. And they won our Best of Show in the very first year.
Wow!
They brought two great cars last year, and we're talking to them now about what they're going to be bringing to our show. But they're great supporters, yes. Great friends, and these people, they won their first Nethercut collection, won its first Concours d'Elegance in 1958. And really? They won Best of Show after Best of Show. So they're veterans.
Yes.
They're teaching me a few things. It's really fun, but they're just those guys are just the core of the sport.
Yes.
They're super nice people. Yes. They're super generous with their time. They've got their grandkids involved now in the sport, yep. Which is great. So they're bringing the sport in with new young people, and they have a gorgeous collection of not only yes. cars but of Fabergé eggs, yes. of musical instruments,
right.
Of all kinds of things. Their museum is just so amazing. I've been there twice in the last month, and right. I just every time I go there, you see something different, yeah. And you're amazed, and it's stunning.
Yeah, it's kind of going to the Smithsonian, right? It's just, every time you turn a corner, there's something you hadn't seen before. And I've had the pleasure of knowing them for a while, not near as long as you. And anytime I see Jackie, who goes, man, sit down and talk. What all you been doing? Or I'll see Helen and see how she's doing. And they're just so cordial and friendly to everybody.
Yeah, they're very down to earth, very friendly, very approachable people. And so, just really nice.
And so we also got to talk about, because there's so many unique aspects of your event. It's thrilled to have you on the show. Give us some insight. I think we've got a slide of this, Rick, of the Helen Award, if I pronounced that correctly. Helene Award.
Helene.
There we go.
Get your French on.
Got it.
Helene.
Helene. It's my new word, new pronunciation for the day. That award is breathtaking. And maybe you can share the screen there, Rick. We'll pull Stuart back up. Just what led to that being developed? Wow.
So early on, we decided it was probably time we wanted to celebrate a woman with our show. We celebrate beauty and elegance. We call these cars right. She. Yes. We'll refer to them. But why don't we have someone who could we bring forward to kind of dedicate our show to? And we stumbled upon Helene Rother. She was the first woman. Make a long story short, she was living she was trained in Paris as a designer, working on lots of things. Was living in Germany with her husband and her 7-year-old daughter. The husband was kind of an anti-Nazi and very vocal about it. He disappeared. And she said, we need to flee. We need to get out of here. So she took her 7-year-old daughter, left, went to a holding camp in Morocco, made her way to New York, where she was drawing for Marvel Comics. And she was doing a comics called The Submariner.
Yes, I remember that.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
But then she got a call. She answered an ad from none other than Harley Earl, who is the famed General Motors designer.
Yes.
And his dream, Harley Earl had a vision in the 40s to have a group of women designers to do the car inside and out. And he called them the Damsels of Design.
Nice.
And she was the first woman engineer, designer to work for General Motors in 1942.
Wow.
So she's an amazing woman. We discovered her, and soon after, someone had mentioned that said she's the most important woman in automotive that's been almost completely forgotten.
Wow.
So we decided,
Excellent.
let's elevate her. Let's bring her forward. Our Art Deco logo features her, and then we
Yes.
made the Helene Award in her likeness. So we took
Wow.
photographs of her. We had artists, guys from the Art Center, former designers from the Art Center. We had them craft her. That's actually an image of her face, and we made it into this award, which we're very proud of. It's not like it's different than any other award out there in Concours.
Oh,
In the world.
absolutely correct. And to be able to just help keep her history alive, and she really broke a lot of ground to be in that key role, and to, like I say, be run with some of the other talent. Wow. So other than
Very talented on many levels. She did all kinds. She
absolutely,
did stained glass. She did furniture and jewelry, but she did amazing cars. And she actually was elevated at one point in time. She did the famous Nash Healy, and she
really,
stood next to Mr. Pininfarina.
right?
And Pininfarina designed the outside, and they said that's the most beautiful non Ferrari ever designed by Pininfarina. And right next to
Wow.
him was Helene Rother, and they said interiors by Mademoiselle Helene Rother. So she
Nice.
was at a very high level, very
Excellent.
early on.
Well, talking about a high level, Rick, and let's kind of walk through a few picks here, Stuart. I think we got some examples of the different vehicles there. And I think this one may be
Yeah,
part of your award ceremony.
yeah, that was our award ceremony at the 2021 show.
Okay,
Uh, These were one of the class winners,
got
and
it.
it was just a lot of fun. It was a great day.
Now, this is
Oh,
breathtaking. What is that? That's just, oh my goodness.
that's the Rita Hayworth Cadillac that
Really?
came to us from the Peterson Museum. There were two of these that were made. It lives in their vault. There were two of these made for royalty, and I believe the story is one of them was given to Miss Rita Hayworth back in the day. Can you imagine a movie star in the 40s driving this thing around on the street? It's so
Exactly.
beautiful.
Yeah, and Rick, if you can just pull us back up real quick, then we'll talk about this one. What Stuart just talked about, the Peterson Museum, they have what they call the vault. So you've got where you pay your fee and you go and you walk around as just touristas, right? But there's a total separate area called the vault, and that probably takes a little bit more accessibility requirements, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but you can actually buy. They have tours now regularly, and you
Oh,
can buy a
cool.
ticket for that, and it's very interesting.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely. So yeah, when you're talking about the vaults, so Rick, pull up the next one because this one's just uber cool. Oh my gosh.
yeah, a beautiful car, a beautiful Auburn Los Angeles from a collector who supports us. I mean, we asked for the most beautiful cars in the world. We get a lot of them.
Oh yeah.
It's amazing.
So,
Just stunning car from front to back, every aspect.
and again, just we talked about the craftsmanship to build it. Well, the craftsman to restore one of these, that's about the same level, if not higher.
Yeah, it takes a lot of patience, a lot of money, and the right marriage of people to do it at this level. Yeah.
Absolutely correct. And I think Rick, we got another one we can drool over for a moment. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
That's a beautiful 1937 Delahaye
Oh my goodness.
that
Oh my.
came to us from a collector in Manhattan Beach. Just a stunning car.
Yes.
I mean, I couldn't even dream that car, but somebody did, thank God, and they made it,
Yeah.
and it showed up on our field.
Well,
Beautiful.
I was
Classic.
I was in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia at the fall of 2019. We had a Delahaye there for this big event, and it just, like you're saying, it just stopped traffic. They're truly one of
Yeah.
a kind. So what else we
Yeah.
got there, Rick?
A lot of our cars would stop traffic.
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely. And this had to be a thrilling moment for you when you presented that award. Can you share us a little insight on that moment?
So Peter Brock is a friend and has helped us from the very beginning. He believes in Concours. He's been a supporter, but he is a magnificent man in the automotive world. And so we wanted to honor him with it's an honorary Helene Award for his lifetime of achievement, all the
Wow.
things he's done in the automotive world. I mean, who is more deserving than Peter Brock?
Absolutely
Great guy.
correct. So for a given weekend that doesn't have anything to do with cars. I'm going to give you a couple of parameters here. Just what is your ideal weekend, or do you have weekends that you're not messing with cars?
Rarely do I have weekend. All my friends now are in the car world.
Yeah, me too.
So one way or another, there's cars. And what happens a lot of times, you show up with your cars and then you go off and you do other things. It's not all around the cars like it used to be.
Right.
But all my friends are car friends now. So
Very cool.
yeah, every weekend's a car weekend.
Sweet. We're kind of the same way, man. So
It's not bad.
It's not a bad gig, all right?
Not a bad thing.
So where do you see the Concours d'Elegance in about 5 years from now? Where would you like to see it?
Well, being able to partner with the Wynn Las Vegas is an amazing partnership.
Yes.
They can together we can do things that we couldn't do on our own.
Yes.
And the Wynn stands for beauty. They stand for elegance, and everything about them is a high level of quality, which is the same thing that we want to have. So they've got rooms like that beautiful Excess nightclub where we'll have our Friday night gala.
Beautiful.
They have everything about that place is amazing and beautiful and elegant. They've got great restaurants, great bars. All the casinos are beautiful. All their common areas are gorgeous. And we're super proud to be on board with them. We'll be there with them for the duration now. That's our home now for here on out. They want to build the show, and they want to build it in a very special way, and they want to be one of the top shows in the world. And there's no reason they shouldn't.
I agree.
Yeah,
and I agree with you. You could not have a better partner. Hey, Rick, do me a favor. Pull that last shot back up where we have all the nice grass. So just to let everybody know that these cars are not going to be parked in the parking lot or hanging out in valet. They're going to be on locations like this on the golf course. Is that correct?
It's a 5-diamond Tom Fazio designed championship golf course. And I think in the next couple of weeks, a guy named Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes and a couple of NFL quarterbacks are going to be golfing there. It's a big deal to even golf there.
Right.
And they invited us to have our show there, and I said, "You're going to let us drive cars on the field? You won't even let me walk on it?" And they said, "Yes." I said, "This is a marriage made in heaven."
Oh, absolutely. So, especially in the world of Concours, what kind of trends do you see coming up the next 5 years? Or is it more kind of stable, or you see it maybe expanding beyond some of the traditional Auburns, et cetera?
The trend right now is to get younger people involved.
Sure.
Because our average age is 70 years old, our average collector age.
Yeah.
Which means there's some guys that are 50, but there's also some guys that are 90.
So
the average age is getting older. Young people need to learn about the beauty and what these old cars are about. Cars from the 20s, 30s, and 40s. They need to learn the history and what they're about, what they represent, so we can keep this sport going. And everything's changing. People want to see different things. We're trying to always be a little cool and innovative and edgy because we're Las Vegas. We want to do things that are different than everybody else, but we also want to celebrate our sport and always be elegant, beautiful, and the best of the best of the best. That's what we want to have on our field.
So we're going to, being as how, again, this is not your first rodeo. You've been at it for a few years. Got a couple of the broader questions. So some young individual watches this show and they go, "Man, I want to be the next Stuart Sobek." So what kind of advice would you give them if they're really serious about being a promoter, other than don't do it?
Yeah, that would be my first. I've had other chairmen give me cards of their psychologists and said, you should call this guy. It's a very difficult thing to do. It's very hard to pull it off, especially at the level we're doing it.
Yes.
But go to shows, see what you do. This came as a dream for me because I wasn't getting what I wanted. I didn't see what I wanted, and I found a niche, and I went after it. So follow your dream. It'll happen. You can make it happen. I've always believed you can do anything you want. Everything is possible.
Excellent. So along that same vein, who was your mentor or mentors?
My mentor really was everybody in the automotive industry.
Really?
Every collector. No, every collector I've always talked to. Because as you mentioned, as a young person, you go out to these shows. The owners are right there. Talk with them. Ask them questions. They're there. They're there because they want to talk about their car.
Yeah.
So ask them questions and find out. But all those guys inspired me. Every little story about where a car came from. You think about a guy who had a $20,000 Packard during the Depression, and there's a guy driving that car around when people are starving. And you think about who was that guy, and why did he get that car, and why is it bright blue? During Depression,
yes,
why is it bright yellow, and yet he had that car. The discrepancy in income and how people were living. It's so interesting. Learn the stories. I believe we're storytellers.
Yes.
We want to tell the stories of these cars, and we want that lives on more than the car itself.
And they're
so interesting.
Yeah, that's such a great observation, because we've had our Superbird out on occasion. Just, I'm going to the grocery store, or I'll be at some small show, and inevitably somebody comes up, they remember the first time they saw a Superbird, and they want to share that story, right? I think Jay Leno, he really put it in perspective as we were dealing with what was going on with COVID. He says, get your cars out of the garage, take them for a drive, have them make a little show. It can really make somebody else's day, right? And give them a little bit something to be excited about, have fun with. So before we get out of here, I want to go full circle back again. So for the viewers, and this goes in lots of different places, if they've never been to a Concours event before as an attendee, why is this show different than other car shows?
All the cars on our field are original.
Perfect.
Or restored to original.
Mm-hmm.
These cars, there's different classes, for example, but most of the big cars, the collector classic cars, you're going to see them almost as they were built. Beautiful. It's a time capsule. So go and you will see all these cars either in original form or restored to exactly as original. And so you get to kind of go back in time. Each car is like its own time capsule. So go and enjoy, talk to the people, learn about these cars, ask all the questions you want. They want to answer them, and experience. We have cars from 1903 all the way up to the newest, latest, and greatest to 2023. So there's everything in between. Learn the history.
Absolutely.
See how they've changed, how they've developed. It's so fun.
And I got to get some insight. I think it's your tagline. Let me get this correct. The future of looking back. Did I get that correct? I hope.
That's exact. The future of looking back is our trademark tagline, because we really feel that represents, we are going forward to the future of the show, but our show is all about looking back at the past and looking where we came from, where the cars originated, where they're going today. And so we love that, the future of looking back.
Okay, before we get out of here, because I'll say that a couple times, my little gerbil brain. Well, I'm hanging with you, man. We're talking about Concours and doozies and stuff, so of course I'm going to eat it. Yeah. So how do people learn more? How do they learn to possibly submit a car to be considered? Or definitely, how do they learn more about being able to attend the event? So
everything is on our website.
Perfect.
And it's LasVegasConcours.com.
Okay.
And it's CONCOURS. No E.
No E.
So LasVegasConcours.com. Everything is on there. The entry forms, you can enter a car online. You can learn about the hotels. You can learn about the tickets, all the events. Everything is on there.
Beautiful.
Or you can find us on Facebook or LinkedIn and Instagram at Las Vegas Concours.
And I got to give the shout out to the Wynn, because I'm also a benefit charity auctioneer, MC, as you know, Stuart, and I love being at the Wynn property. So for people that are out of town, they're going to be there for the event. You get to hang out at the Wynn. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that.
It doesn't get any better than that.
It doesn't get any better than that. So reflecting back, sir, what is one of your favorite automotive memories?
Well, this started for me a long time ago, but I have a memory. Recently, I just saw there was a Disney auction, and I was looking at all the stuff, and there were the Autopia cars they were selling. And I remember as a young boy crawling in one of those Autopia cars that looked that looked kind of like a Corvette. They said it's styled. The front is a Corvette, the back is an Opel, something like that. But I remember sitting in that car and getting all serious about it, and it was so cool. And I thought I was going so fast.
Oh, yeah.
Autopia was one of my early memories of driving a car and feeling the wind in my face and thinking, wow, I can't wait to get out on the open road with one of these.
I love it. Okay, last question. I save it for the last. That way I can say it's the last question. It's probably the toughest one, especially for you. What is your favorite automobile?
My favorite car. Well, you know what everybody says. The car I'm driving today.
Yeah, it's that.
I'm actually a longtime Lambo guy.
Right.
I've owned many Lambos. I've owned many Ferraris. I like cars that I can get in and drive fast.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. It's so hard to say. It's really impossible to say what your favorite car is.
Yeah,
there's so many that I like.
Sure.
It's hard to say.
Well, Stuart, thank you so much for being on us today. It has been an absolute hoot. You and I've been doing a little bit of tag for the last month or so to put this together. I'm glad you're able to carve out some time for us. We cannot wait. And what are the dates for the Concours this year?
We are October 28th through October 30th. We start on Friday night gala on the 28th. Saturday the 29th is our show on the green on the golf course at the Wynn.
Right.
And Sunday morning, our tour is on the Strip. We're going to drive these amazing cars on the Las Vegas Strip.
Really? Wow.
It's going to be beautiful.
And when you get done attending this event and seeing the great cars, make sure you set aside time to be somewhere on the Strip on Sunday to be watching them cruise by. That Sunday morning.
It's amazing. The cars you're going to see driving the Strip, of course, many of them are not street legal.
Well, there's
and
that.
They allow us to do this in this situation.
Beautiful.
But there's race cars and there's Le Mans. In 2019 we did it on the Strip, and we had a Le Mans winning a Nash race car roaring down the Strip. We had vintage Ferraris, old Bugattis, things that you would never ever see anybody drive on the Strip. Wow. And they're so cool to see that combination of cars with the buildings and the look of the Strip. It's an amazing contrast that needs to be seen.
So if you haven't figured out, you know where Mikey's going to be for those dates of them in October. You have to be there as well. You got to go to their website. Website one more time for them, Stuart.
LasVegasConcours.com. And Mikey.
Yes, sir.
Mikey, on that Sunday morning, you'll be riding with me, shotgun.
Dude, you're in. Count me. Cool. Anytime I get near a ride, man, I'm the world's happiest camper. And hanging with you, my street cred went up a lot.
Okay, it's cool. We'll have fun.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. God bless what you're doing. Please, thank everybody at the Wynn. It's going to take it to a whole new level that it truly deserves. And I can't think of a better place for you guys to partner with. I got to be candid with an organization like that.
It could not be better. It's going to be an amazing, beautiful show.
Beautiful. All right, my friend. You have a great balance of the week, and check out what's going on the site. You'll see all the social media. This is an official big deal. Until next time, Stuart, take care, brother. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this episode of Car Stars and Roll Bars. Yeah, it's going to take me like 2 days to calm back down because October's a long ways away. And until next time, enjoy the ride. Bye-bye for now.